Today, I will not tell you about the cosmic wars of great gods, but rather the heart-wrenching yet lesson-filled story of an ordinary human, perhaps someone who could have been your neighbor. This is the tale of Appu. Once upon a time, in the city of Shudul by the sea, in the land of Luluva, there lived a man named Appu. Appu was not just wealthy, he was filthy rich with heaps of grain. He had gold, silver, and countless cattle and sheep. But there was a giant void in Appu's heart. When he came home in the evening, there was no child to open the door, jump into his arms, and call him father. He would lament to himself, "What use have I for gold, silver, cattle, and sheep if I have no son to hold and cherish?" His wealth only sharpened his pain. His neighbors in Shudul, as if to spite him, would sit right where he could see them, giving roast bread and meat to their own sons, joking and laughing with them. Appu would watch this scene all alone, grief-stricken and exhausted. Peace had fled his home as well. His wife resented his state, perhaps blaming him. So much so that one day, when Appu came home tired and threw himself into bed, his wife, taking the servant girls with her, mocked him. She humiliated him, calling him impotent and blaming him for not giving her a child. These words pierced Appu's heart like an arrow. He had to find a remedy. On a day said to be auspicious, Appu chose the most beautiful, innocent milk-white lamb. He took it and offered it as a sacrifice to the sun god, the all-seeing protector of justice. The sun god must have heard his plea, for he appeared to him. And the god's advice was not ethereal as we might expect. On the contrary, it was extremely worldly. The sun god said to him, "Go home, Appu. Get thoroughly drunk. Then be with your wife." Appu followed the god's words to the letter. And 9 months later, a miracle occurred. His wife gave birth to a son. But Appu's joy was cut short, for it had been a very difficult, agonizing birth. It was as if the child did not want to come into the world at all. Because of the suffering he endured, Appu named this first son Bad. Time passed, and Appu's wife gave birth a second time. This time, everything was normal. The birth flowed like water. Perhaps out of his own longing for fairness, Appu named this child Justice. The two brothers, Bad and Justice, grew up together. However, when Appu grew old, the time came to divide his inheritance. He wanted to share his assets between his two sons. But Bad acted true to his name. He was not satisfied with his share. He had his eyes on his brother Justice's portion. He wanted to cheat Justice and usurp his rights. A great fight broke out between the two brothers. The good brother, Justice, respects his father's decision and accepts his share. The bad brother, however, is displeased and covets the better share his brother received. Bad goes to the good one and demands the inheritance be redistributed fairly according to his own greed. The good brother refuses. As the dispute grew, Bad decided to take the matter to court. The two brothers applied to the supreme judge of the gods, the all-seeing sun god Istanu, to resolve their case. Bad presented his case to the sun god, claiming his brother had unjustly received a better share. The sun god listened to the case and delivered his verdict. The decision is exactly as we would expect. The sun god finds the good one, the righteous one, to be right. He scolds the bad one, the unjust one, for his greed and for rising against his brother. He declares that justice is ensured not by greed, but by being content with what one has. As you can see, this small myth teaches a lesson as important as the great wars of the gods. This is one of the finest examples of Hittite wisdom literature. It tells us, property, gold, and silver are fleeting. True wealth is the continuation of one's lineage, but even more important than that is a righteous child and justice. The Tale of Appu is an immortal text showing how abstract concepts like good and bad were personified in Anatolia thousands of years ago. Thank you for joining us in this episode. You have been listening to the Veritas Antiqua channel. To be notified of new episodes, you can subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media.